are. Welcome, everyone, to This Week in Hospitality Digital Marketing. I am one of your co-hosts, Loren Gray. With me is my other co-hosts, the smarter, better-looking ones, Mr. Edward StOnge from Flip2 and Mr. Tim Peter from Tim Peter and Associates. Yes, we can do the Brady Bunch thing. Here's the story. With all of that, I have a few teaser lines. We just went over and did our our Instagram live pre-show green room chit chat. So the gentlemen are going to hear the same statements over again. But some of the news topics that we threw out as suggested. Oh, this is Mr. Robert Cole, our other co-host in crime. Mr. Robert with Rock Cheetah. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well.
By the way, you can tell that Robert and I live in the north because we are both wearing warmer clothing today.
I live in Dallas.
Oh, right.
It's in the 40s here.
It is 17 degrees at the moment.
We're the opposite.
Why are we doing that? Why are we giving Mr. Robert, Mr. Edward, the privilege of being able to point out his Florida residency here?
I say this with nothing but love and respect, but I hate you.
All right, gentlemen, some of the topics that we threw out for some suggestions, and I know Mr. Tim is adamant about one that I didn't refer to, but let me quickly go through some of
one I want to talk about too. So
yeah, we will, and so does Mr. Robert. I'm sure the top 25 of these. Okay, so we have Marriott Makes a movie with some Moxy. Their continuous story of. Well, we got audio here.
I can hear you.
I can hear me too. Okay. We have also 4 ads are better than 2. Google adds 2 additional spaces on their Universal box for us to spend more money for. We also have, let's see, Google shows, now you can have hotel deals when you're looking at airfares on Google, and you can actually have your membership adjust those rates depending upon what membership of hotel you have loyalty to. There's also, La Quinta has a loyalty program that has some promise. KSL buys some more stuff, mainly fruit. And TripAdvisor spends a lot of money getting into the business traveler segment.
All right, so let's slim this down. Like let's do a couple of these quick fire because some of these aren't really that big. So are 4 ads better than 2? They are for Google. Anyone disagree with that?
Google wins.
Nope, we're good.
Right. Moving along.
Moving along.
Let's see what else did we have? TripAdvisor coming into
TripAdvisor dumps $5.1 billion into buying
Traxo.
Traxo. Yep.
Great for Traxo.
Good for Andre and his guys. So.
Yep, well deserved.
KSL eats and KKR acquire Apple Leisure Group.
That's interesting.
That's interesting.
That's
okay, tell me, because I didn't see what Robert, you posted this on Facebook, and I didn't see it for what you posted it for. So I would love to why you guys think it's interesting, because I didn't catch it.
KSL working on becoming a brand? Developing a brand? Why do you buy distribution when you're an owner of properties?
But what they're buying is probably AM Resorts and all of their properties, all of the all-inclusive. So they've got 35 properties. Now, the interesting thing is that 5 of those properties are actually owned by Playa Resorts, who's going to go public. Right, so coincidence that both these are happening at the same time? I don't know. Things are going to get now. Playa is going to do its own brand and go public, right? So, and this is pure conjecture. Maybe there might be something between KSL and Playa, but KSL's always kind of done their own thing too.
Yeah.
So they've La Quinta and not El Dorado. What's the
they bought the Miraval, didn't they? They bought the Miraval.
Yeah, they do own Miraval, right? So, they used to have Grand Wailea. They've always been kind of
they had all those properties that are now like a mix of like Blackstone and
right.
Yeah.
Well, they were pretty heavily funded. They had some cash. They were pretty heavy in the pockets. That's what I remember.
Yeah, they're investing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They are true players. So we'll see what they do. But I would think the things
true players working with Playa. Are they Playas?
2 Playas. No, they aren't
Playas.
Playa.
So we'll see what happens, but I've got to think Cheap Caribbean maybe in play and get sold off. That doesn't seem to be a great fit. Travel Impressions almost got killed through the process of getting amalgamated into and abused by Apple. Apple Vacations, I don't know. That will be an interesting one. Maybe Mark Travel picks it up or something like that. Who knows? Or maybe something like that.
if I can just toss in one little thing with that, have we noticed that there's a lot of untethered vacation entities out there now? Timeshare rental things that are floating out there. Everyone seems to be divesting themselves of their stake in the game. So there's a lot of them that are floating out. They may all try to pool together, or do you just think it's going to fade away?
I think it's the fact that an unexpected result of the economy hanging on for one more year is some of these valuations are still very frothy. And I think you're seeing smart investors exiting their highly profitable positions in these organizations.
Sell at the top, buy low, sell high. So that's actually an interesting one just to toss out to the group. So Expedia's IPOing Trivago. That makes sense to anybody?
Yep.
From sell high perspective.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Get out while the getting's good.
It's done well as a brand for them too.
Sure.
Yes, I agree. The same way the kayak has really helped Priceline. I mean, from a business intelligence perspective and how everything works, that's fantastic. But then doing the opposite, having it go on its own, is interesting to me, because you kind of look at it. Trivago reminds me a lot of cheap tickets.
Yep.
They get traffic when they buy ads.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what happens when they stop buying ads. It may just stop, which is what happened with cheap tickets. And that's not great for an IPO. So that's not a sustainable.
Let me give you a piece of advice. Don't buy into travel IPOs. Name one that's gone well. Name one that's gone well.
Okay. Priceline. If you bought,
initial, I don't believe its initial IPO went well, though. I think
no. Its initial IPO went to a higher valuation than it achieved like years later. It went to like 3.5 billion on day 3.
Oh, okay.
But then it kind of cratered down and actually was trading at about $1.50 a share.
So do you think that's the William Shatner effect? Kind of got everyone in, and then they looked under the covers and went, "Ooh,
no." That was oh wait, the guy, what's his name?
Small fluffy puppies.
No, they were.
I don't think that.
They were pitching that retail was going to change and everybody would be doing name your own price, and then they went to gasoline and mortgages and completely died.
And found out that none of that worked.
Yeah, and in air it doesn't really work too well. They've discovered, and car works in hotels. I always
bite my tongue on this because I worked for Schwab during the .com boom, and I'm a get rich slow guy, not a get rich quick guy when it comes to this stuff. What's the old? I never remember the exact joke or who said it about the market, but people, somebody was once asked, like a Keynes or somebody like that was asked, what he thought the market will do, and he said it will change. It's too easy to get caught up in the short term on this stuff. And I mean, one of the things we've discussed and debated and all that kind of stuff on this show many times is, we knock the real estate investors because they tend to have a short term and focus on how do they get the most yield out of the asset instead of building long-term customer value. And, this Trivago move to me is let's get some short-term pop and
then take it private.
And then take it private. Right. As Ed, I think you hit it right on the head a minute ago. I mean, is Trivago a sustainable brand? Or Robert, you may have said it, when they stop buying ads. What's their cost of customer acquisition going to be? Pretty damn high.
Unless you fix your basis in it by selling it high and then buying it low.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
But I don't get as like, possibly to my detriment, right? There's a lot of people making a lot of money doing this stuff that I'm not doing for sure. Don't necessarily take my word for it. At the same time, I just hear these stories and I'm like, yeah, it's just financial maneuvering.
Yep.
Yeah. If you want stock tips, come to me. I'm the one who told my wife, Starbucks, no, they burn their beans. You really growing up in Seattle, being familiar with the original Starbucks store and going.
Okay. First off, we have to discount all of our wives because they made the ludicrous choice of actually marrying us.
Yes,
so
they all are decision makers.
Some level.
I do want to point out, Robert, before you feel too bad, I'm the guy who bought Sun on the way down because seemed cheap.
Yeah.
Look, here's a price. This is great. Let's buy that.
That didn't work out as well as I would have thought.
So let's all move on to this awesome piece of research that Robert found.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, 25 people can determine the fate of the entire industry simply by their person.
I will say,
let's make sure we're talking about the same one. Let's make sure we're talking about the same one. We're talking about the hotel websites don't matter. And other insights? Yes.
Yes. So,
okay. I have to go first because my head is going to explode. I am going to lose my damn mind on this. The lead is hotel websites don't matter. No, Robert, you got.
But you have to tell people where it is, and we'll post.
I posted a link.
No, I
don't.
No, I don't because they
Adweek.
Read it
this is on Adweek.
It's on Adweek.
People should not read this because it is stupid and wrong. It is monumentally stupid and monumentally wrong. It's fake news.
False news.
Here's the thing. The headline says hotel websites don't matter. And then their third point is 46% of travelers book via a booking engine, and none of the consumers surveyed for the report visited a hotel's website during the booking process. So they're saying 46% visited during a booking engine, by which they mean like an Expedia Orbitz. Where'd the other 54% book?
Okay.
Second. Hold on. Second, they say hotels should focus on SEO/SEM too.
Sending it to where?
Sending it to where? SEO for what? SEM for what?
To a phone number.
Oh, my God.
But wait, even more important.
The Germans hold
all of this research.
It is worse than that. It is much, much worse.
How do you get worse than that? SEO for what?
No. Okay, so those are bad analysis leading to bad conclusions, but that bad analysis was based on bad research.
Yes,
because the sample size.
It was.
No, wait. The sample size was, and it was the research group 2020 or whoever the hell they are.
Right.
They seem to work with a lot of people. They do qualitative research,
which is great.
I always thought,
qualitative research.
I like
qualitative research has its place.
I like qualitative research based on quantitative measure.
Yes. Yes.
That's just.
But let's get to the fact. It was 25 people.
25 individuals were in the group that did a survey. Then they interviewed a subset, and I'm not sure how many. Right. So when you start talking about 46%,
right, 46% of 25 people
of a subset of 25 people,
probably you're talking probably no more than 11.
Right. Like this person, this person couldn't even be bothered to ask their Facebook friends.
Right.
Plus, the distribution of those individuals of mirroring the traveling public, probably not quite so disciplined.
So Adweek, if you do watch this show, which by the way, you probably should based on your writing, you're welcome to come on and defend this.
Yes, for sure.
No,
but or Brand 2020 or any of these folks, because I get so pissed. And the reason I get so pissed about this, the reason I'm so fired up about this is because we spend a lot of our time trying to make people smarter. And there are people out there who like to write clickbait that is designed to do nothing else but make people dumber. Right. Reading this article, reading this research will make you stupider.
Right.
Don't do it.
So my takeaway is Sullivan, NYC, don't use them.
Yep.
if this is the kind of work they do, and they say brand is earned, and they do a bunch of work for a bunch of folks.
Yeah, I know.
Which explains a bunch of things.
They work for NYU Stern of all places, and Merrill Lynch, and all sorts of folks.
One thing to be fair, they also, out of the 4 key points they came up with, they did probably a basic Google search and just grabbed headlines and covered them, because these are all points of views of different companies. Like, I can tell you that right now. Like, travelers don't care about your brand reputation. Gee, I wonder where that came from.
Right. Well, that's the Adweek article also. So this probably started from a Sullivan press release that Adweek picked up.
Right.
Based on this research from 2020 research, right?
Yeah.
And 2020 research, they work with a whole bunch of folks too, right? I mean,
right.
I don't know why you need to build an infographic when the data set is so small. Like, couldn't you just list each individual answer and still
sample size number 12 says, yeah. Well, now here's the real roll of damage to this. I've already gotten asked twice about this from clients.
What you're saying, Loren, go for it.
It gets in front of somebody and makes some owner or some asset manager or some GM go over and say, "What the hell is this all about? Why are we paying these dudes over here to do this, and this? And you have to spend your life's time telling people, look at the number of people and go through what we just went through. This exercise of defaming that the article is irrelevant, inaccurate, and basically just fake news.
They only got point number 2
this exercise. Yeah.
Well, even a broken clock is right twice a day. I mean, for the love of God, a blind squirrel finds the nut every so often.
Every once in a while, that blind pig can find a turnip.
Yeah, I mean, and I Robert, I keep hammering on this because I absolutely agree with you that this is badly conducted research. It's a bad sample size. It's a bad data set. But you should be able to look at the conclusions and say, this is nonsensical. It does not follow logically, right?
Yeah, I just want to ask the question of, did any of those 25 people travel?
Yeah.
Or did they just know someone who traveled?
I want to ask somebody, if you're doing the SEO, where are you pointing it to? Like, forget the sample size. Not that that's not incredibly important, but if you're doing the SEO and you don't have a hotel website,
Adweek only cares that you're spending money. They don't care that you're making money, just as long as you keep spending.
But it was great. The graphics they put in there, they said where they live, and they even called it out, which was so insane. 25 people, and they highlighted the states. They had somebody in California, they had somebody in Utah, somebody in Colorado, somebody in Texas. They had nobody in Washington State, nobody from Florida. Looks like they missed a lot of the Midwest. And you're just kind of like, well, I guess they covered,
But I had
Minnesota
but I had the same experience as Loren, where I had a client contact me. And the GM of the property contacted me because the asset manager contacted the GM to say, your budget for next year has a bunch of money on the website and driving more content and doing all these other kinds of things. And these people are saying that doesn't matter. So why are we doing this? Right. They're making the people who read this stupider.
Right. And the people put their name at the bottom. Loren Walsh, Chief Marketing Officer of Sullivan NYC, and Heather Ball of Marketing Manager for 2020.
Did you email these people?
No, actually, though, a fellow who is with a travel tech firm contacted Adweek about it, the writer at Adweek, who apologized and said, "Oh, well, gee, we'll contact you next time," or just kind of like, "Oh, sorry."
So Christine Berkner,
right? Yeah.
So by the way, nothing Christine Berkner writes can be taken with any seriousness after reading that article.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it's just really crazy. Yeah. Crazy bad stuff on so many different levels.
So I think we've had our rant. So do we all agree that if anybody watching this is reading this article, burn it with fire?
But wait, if you were reading the article and were happy about what was in it, we don't mean burn your computer with fire. And speak to your companion and have them print it out. Just in case.
All right, I got my rant out. I'm happy now.
Must say, play with fire on that level, yes. But you know what? Actually, I thought if there was a better, more heinous usage for this, and this is bait people that constantly argue with you with this article. Share it with them and let them think it's gold, and then bring them into a meeting and destroy them.
Wow, that's some Machiavelli. My friend. Yeah, exactly.
Yes, here's a great article for you. Oh my gosh, run in and then just shred them in front of an audience. Yes.
Or just straight up share the article saying, this guy told me this was the greatest article ever. Let me know what you think.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, there is evilness somewhere in the world.
There is.
Oh my goodness.
All right, well, we swatted down some of the topics pretty quick, which is fine. All good. When we haven't hit down yet is a couple weeks back, or a few weeks back, actually, Robert, you had asked what was happening with Marriott's studio. Well, they spent all this money to make a studio for video development, and it's just sitting there spinning. Well, ta-da, they're making something.
They're making a reality show.
They're making a reality show. I don't know whether did you guys see that through the news? I didn't share it in the potential notes, so I can throw the link up for anybody who wants to pop open real quick because I might be catching you flat-footed.
Because here's the thing: travelers care about this. No,
that's
serious.
Ed,
travelers care about this.
Okay, so I'm going to take a contrarian view on this.
Probably a good idea.
I have not watched the video. I have no opinion on the video whatsoever. I don't know if it's good. I don't know if it's bad. I know nothing about the specific video. I will tell you what I like about it conceptually, which is that Marriott is doing what I think is the right thing to do, which is investing in content.
Correct.
Whether or not the execution is correct might be another matter, right? Not having seen the video, I'm not in a position to comment on it.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I'm glad they're doing,
but they're putting their money in the right
and hopefully
place.
They're tracking it, and they'll become really good at it. And 5 years from now, they'll be like spot on killer content creator.
Right.
I have watched the whole 25-minute show, and I think there's a little stale on some of the plot format that they're basing it too much off of the fading genre of reality TV, crisis tension. For the first section of this 25-minute movie is about basically short snippets of people in charge going, this is totally unacceptable. We're 45 minutes from this, and this thing's not happening yet. And it's 10 minutes of, oh my God. They're going to even open up the hotel. Is it going to actually happen? And then finally they start getting into all the cool stuff they did to build the place. Why this was neat, why this was unique. It actually gave him a long trailer of explaining where the tile came from and why we designed it with that little hoopy thing up there and all this other stuff that they did.
If you say the complete word, you can't replace it.
That's okay. When we go through and edit this later, we'll bleep that out.
Yes, we always edit our shows. We beep. Okay, so it did give you a chance to kind of see a little bit of it that most people don't appreciate. It goes through the process of. That's very cool.
Yeah.
What I would love to have seen is more of the character development of their staff as they hired them, what they were looking for in the spirit of service, what they were looking for in the training, why they were telling people to do it a certain way. They didn't really get into it as much as they had time to do it. It's a 25-minute show.
Right.
I'm still going to challenge. I'm still going to challenge. Do travelers care?
No,
let's be fair. Clearly they do. It's been up for a day, and already it's got 147 views.
Wow.
That's all Marriott people.
Wait a second. That is almost 6 times the sample size of that research.
Right.
By the way, I'd like to point out, and I don't say this I say this only by way of contrast. I put up a video of me unboxing a guitar once just because I was curious if people actually watched these unboxing videos. And in a little over a year, it's gotten 14,000 views. I can't imagine why anybody watches it. So,
right.
So I will
agree with Loren. They did hit one part that's interesting, which is the why and like that stuff. And I think there is a section of people who will react to that. But I will say, from looking at it, I can tell you what this was. They're like, we need a reality show like that hotel show, but not like making us look bad. But it should have that drama. And like, imagine like how it's made. Like, what if we mix those things together?
You've got to do this. You've got to do this.
And again,
I have an idea.
But again, what the content
spitball in here, but
the content guys go out and they get external directors and production and things like that who are doing this. So this may also have been an idea pitched to
them. Right.
I mean, it's very hard. You think they pulled a director that
no
was busy?
For some of the other ones, though, they used good indie director.
Yeah,
They legitimate people producing.
But so I think it's again, I don't want to poo-poo on everything they're doing. It's nice that they're trying. I think someone needs to go in there and say, "Hey guys, what do travelers care about?"
Well, I think
who are travelers, like not travel industry travelers, because they're different.
Now let's be fair. They have another video that they published a month ago, just by contrast, right? Jack Maynard gives Taryn a workout, and it was published a month ago. It's 4.5 minutes long. I don't know what it is. I haven't watched it.
Are you sure? Just because it says Marriott, does it have 2 T's on it? Does it Marriott with 1 T?
265,000 views.
Right.
So I think they are testing different stuff to see what sticks. Yep. And I think I really do think that's to be applauded.
You had something to chime in on. What did you want to? We kept talking over you. What did you want to say?
Well, there are a variety of different things on. Number one, when this studio was created in 2014, right? It's at least a couple of years old. They wanted to be the Red Bull of the hotel industry, right? And Red Bull does video content really well,
right?
Oh, because they're people. Red Bull isn't doing it; their people are doing it. The people using it, they're the ones that are doing it.
Yeah, and sometimes, but they're sponsoring
the guy
jumping out of a spaceship. Yeah, I mean, things like that. They are spending big money sponsoring. They're getting people on the tops of mountains on mountain bikes and getting the helicopters and all that stuff, right? So they are really good at this, and Marriott has has done some good stuff. My question is the underlying strategy, though, because yes, they've gotten some former Disney people in there. I mean, these people are good at what they do, but the question is the strategy, because who's the audience for? Is this for hoteliers? Is this for travelers? And then even how it's packaged. I mean, the 2 Bellman video, it's under the 2 Bellman video, or the YouTube channel. It's not even tied to a Marriott brand. And so you can kind of go, well, it's low key and we don't want it to be too obvious, but it's kind of like, well, it's just sitting by itself. And then
you can be too low key.
Right. The French Kiss one, I think, was under like JW Marriott or something. So it isn't in a you can't even let's go to Marriott Studios and see the different videos they have. It just doesn't work, which was really confusing for these guys who are good filmmakers. And I don't know, there's some gaps between the strategy, the execution, and then the packaging and being able to reuse the stuff.
By the way, just real quick, I watched that YouTube link you just put up. They have that many clicks because it looks like it's a porn. Like, I'm just gonna say it.
Well, okay.
And the title reads like one.
So, but that's what made me smirk. It was like, maybe you've done your workout. Alrighty. That's
where I disappeared to. If you saw a blank look on my face, it wasn't because Robert was talking. It was because I just wanted to confirm what I thought from the title. And I can tell you, like, very tongue in cheek there, Marriott. I like that one. That one's funny.
No pun intended.
Yeah. Well, I think we can all agree. I think we all agree that somebody in the higher levels of the food chain in Marriott went over and looked and said, so what do we spend all that money on that equipment for over there? What are we doing with that stuff? And so they're trying to explore, to your point, Tim, usabilities of the studio that they have. Okay, they did the 2 Bellman. Yeah. They talked about doing that. That didn't seem to keep on a train that could go for any length of time. So let's try this. Let's try that.
You know what I would do if I was them with all that equipment, and if you're experimenting with something, let's do something that's already proven. Like, I don't know, do a series on the really good chefs you have at a lot of your locations, and do some type of fun cooking series with that. So now you're tapping into foodie travelers that would be interested in it, people who follow celebrity chefs, and it would be basically one long commercial for like the really nice restaurants at some of these hotels.
Well, and I'm looking at Moxy. Okay, so Moxy, and I had no idea this campaign was even existing.
Guys, I apologize. I have to jump out. So, bad. Sorry. Time flies when we're making fun.
I'm very concerned. Ed has said that he's found some porn links, and now he's leaving suddenly.
I gotta go.
Ed, I'm not going to be here next week. I hope you have a great holiday. I hope you have a
great
Christmas.
Happy birthday, by the way.
Happy birthday, by the way.
Yeah,
happy birthday to both of you. And Holly, if she's listening to us today, happy birthday to Holly.
Happy birthday, Holly.
She's so in tune with you guys. She's only 2 days off from you guys' birthday.
Right.
So
that's right. That's right.
All right,
well, have a great holiday, Ed. We'll see you next year.
See you on the other side.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, so back to this Moxy thing, though. I'm looking at their video list. They have this whole Do Not Disturb series that they've been doing since over a year. sort of thing. So, and some of them have a quarter. One of them, Ollie White, and I'm sorry, I don't know who Ollie White is. But oh no, Jack Maynard gives Taryn a workout, has 265,000 views.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Right.
Another one has 575,000 views. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I guess these are, I'm not sure who all these people are, but Moxy,
a lot of them are either YouTubers
or celebrities
or Viners who who bring an audience and things like that. I think it is a smart. I don't want to say it's a smart strategy. I want to be very clear.
Okay.
I think content marketing aspect is a smart strategy. I think that the partnering with people who are well-regarded creators is a smart tactic.
Right.
I think whether or not they've discovered what is the right content that works for the customers they're actually trying to connect with to get them to actually stay with the hotels more often. As Ed said a moment ago, I mean, it might take them, a year or a couple of years to sort out, hey, this is what the audience we're trying to reach really wants. I mean, to be fair, let's be very fair to Marriott. I'm in a very giving mood. It must be the holiday spirit.
Must be the holidays, yeah.
But to be very fair to Marriott, look at the television networks, and they struggle to launch shows all the time, and they've been doing this for their entire existence. So finding the content that resonates with an audience that also can deliver long-term brand value and, sell some hotel rooms and things like that is not a simple task. But I genuinely applaud the direction, if not the specific executions. I mean, I think they're very, very right on in terms of where they're trying.
And actually on this Moxy thing with the do not disturb, and again, I've had no exposure to it. I'm not in their target segment for Moxy, obviously. Okay, so Taryn Southern, she has a YouTube channel. She has 700 million views, right? She does all sorts of acting things. She's been a New Girl, Guys with Kids, X Factor, all these different things, right? Yep. I'm a crazy cat lady. I'm a travel junkie. So she's a travel junkie. So that's good. So they found some appeal to millennials who's a travel junkie, and then said, hey, we're going to go partner and let's do a bunch of videos. And they have a dozen do not disturbs, obviously, with other people. And the whole thing is we're, in bed talking about whatever. Right. And that's great. I think that's very good. And they're getting some views, and you know what? They've got this content, and Moxy isn't real big right now, and they're laying the foundation.
Right.
Again, I'm with you, Tim. I'm not trying to bash the effort, because at least it's an effort in the right direction. And yes, they're going to have their not successful as they would wish moments out of this process to it. And there's aspects of even just this video that we're first talking about here with the last 10. They're going to go around the world, since they're opening up so many hotels, and they're going to pattern this if it keeps its life about it at different hotels around the world. So you'll get exposure. I mean, not everybody knows about New Orleans, but it's a little bit more familiar than say Dubai or someplace else. So, you're going to get a little bit more of an exposure to the challenges and the why it was put there, and answer a lot more of the depth to it. But most importantly, will it bring you in front of mind when you're thinking that you might be traveling there? Hey, I know a little bit more about that location than I do anything else, because I watched this video that Marriott put out about when they built the damn thing.
Exactly.
So there is some residual value proposition.
And I want to be very fair again. I'm looking right now at a competitor of theirs, and a competitive hotel brand. I'm not going to call them out because I'm going to be nice, because I'm in this giving spirit. And they've got a bunch of videos up featuring various people and things along those lines. And they have a couple that have done pretty well, 100,000 views, 150,000 views, 200,000 views. Mm-hmm. But by and large, the vast majority have views in the, small hundreds, right? 300 views, 400 views, etc. And that's literally like if I'm looking at 20 videos right now, 16 of them, those are the numbers.
Right. Well, that's also relying on the organic.
But this is difficult to do. It's difficult to get right. It's going to take them some time to sort out how do we find an audience, and how do we make this relevant, and also deliver business value.
Yeah. I think and actually, I'm gonna take back my ripping on them, because I hadn't actually seen this thing before, Loren, with the link, and I wasn't aware of it. I think actually they are doing. I'm going to do a complete 180. I think with that hotel countdown, they are doing the right thing. They don't have many views, but 90 days ago they did something. Welcome to the Freak Show, Nola's Got Moxy. So they did a very short minute and a half type thing, which was basically with Taryn Southern and a variety of other YouTube type stuff launching, like announcing the hotel. So now what they've done is they've tried to do this reality show appealing to millennials. And it's long form, 25 minutes. So not cheap to produce, but they did this. Hey, and it says, what does it take to open Moxy New Orleans? So I think I don't like
the only part I don't like is the first 10 minutes. That's the only part I don't like.
Oh no, and I haven't seen
building reality thing.
My only question about that, Loren, is and this is why I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt on this, and probably why I'm being so giving on this, is I from what little I've seen of the videos, and I've watched 12 seconds while we're sitting here discussing this. We're talking to 3 guys who have been around for a while. We are not fresh out of college. We are not recent travelers. We're recent travelers in the sense of we just started traveling or maybe haven't traveled much and the like. I am willing to give a lot of benefit of the doubt on things like this because we may not be the target audience.
Right.
By far.
And the people who are might, I don't know that that's true, but the people who are might go, this is awesome.
Right.
But
I think the 147 views don't give me a lot of confidence in that direction.
Right. I like the strategy behind this of what they're doing.
I'm not disagreeing with the strategy or the purpose.
It's the first
10 minutes because going to what you said, Tim, where TV channels don't get it right and that's their business. They have since in the past season of transition of their new shows, this high tension, Big Brother show, live reality shit, dialed down. Okay, so this is bringing it back in. So to me, it's kind of like they're following a lead that's withering. They shouldn't be as intense. The videos, as we know, the first part is the capture point. So there can be some sort of hype to the process to get you into it, but you brought it 10 minutes long. And at that point, I'm saying you're really following a pattern that the TV shows have even started to dial down. It's not like they're gone away, but it's not their feature. I mean, for a year ago, it seemed like every prime time was high tension reality TV that just sucked. There's this big island adventures, things, and all this other stuff. It's not as important as it was.
Hold on.
He's looking up a stat.
You guys keep talking. I'm going to come back and potentially challenge that.
Okay. No. But yeah, I think in terms of how they produce, and again, I haven't seen the video, but what you're saying, Laura, maybe you do it a little differently where you go, here's the end result. Isn't this a cool Moxy hotel? This is what we're trying to do. And then, okay, here's the process to go.
And you can have some tense points. You can have some crises and problems, of course.
And opening hotels is very tense with all sorts of crap that goes wrong. Sort of thing.
But if you look at this video, they let it run. It's okay to do a couple of minutes of hype session. I'm good about hype sessions. I'm good about, tension builders or cliffhangers. That's all part of the strategy of storytelling. But 10 minutes of reality TV that everything's going to fail, for 10 minutes, you're thinking that this isn't going to happen. And at some point, you begin to get dulled to the excitement. And then they get into the interesting stuff as to what they produced from all this. So I just think it's a twist and a turn. I think they're hurting their audience because they're getting abandonment early in the video, because if they think all 25 minutes is what they're seeing in the first 5, they're not going to watch the 25.
And you may be right. I'm just, I don't have enough data to say that one way or the other. Right. It could absolutely be true. But I'm very curious to see what the deal is. I'm just looking. I'm sorry. I'm trying to find some data right now. Okay.
Well, the other thing though,
the top rated shows for the week of November 28th, 2016, according to Nielsen, on broadcast. This is broadcast, not cable, so they break them out separately.
They still have broadcast, really?
Yeah, I know. Thursday night football, Sunday night football, which sports is a little tough, right?
Yeah.
Big Bang Theory, scripted comedy television show. Sunday night pre-kickoff, Thursday night pre-kickoff. So again, sports, 60 minutes. Some NBC movie that I don't. Oh, that was probably the Hairspray, right?
Yep.
The OT, which again is sports, and The Voice at number 9. So a reality program.
No. Different. No, I'm not saying all reality in this. I'm talking about
No. I know.
Island or whatever it was. Housewives of Dallas, Jersey Shore stuff.
I hear you.
Stuff. That crappy stuff. Where it's like, let's pit these people against these people and give them a squirrel to eat or something. That kind of crap.
Well, this is like Iron Chef. You got to prepare this stuff. You got time. Here's the end goal. The only thing, and again, I've only watched the first 30 seconds of it, is they're approaching it like this is an independent hotel.
Right.
Independent. Moxy is a brand that has been developed. It's a lot of stuff has gone through. They're executing a single property off of a very strong brand strategy and formula and everything like that. So some of it, my guess would be if you really stripped it back, you go, they're orchestrating some drama here in terms of things. But again, will they get the liquor license on time? It's like, well, if someone at Marriott hasn't done that, figured it out, they need to lose their jobs because they've got
they got a lot of money running on having
24 month development window or whatever.
Yeah, that should be a question coming up as they're building the bar. That's not a good combination. Right. Having built and owned restaurants, that's the wrong sequence of events.
So they're probably trying to there's probably a little bit, dramatization. The names have been changed and
But the reason I'm pushing back so hard, Loren, and I want to be really clear about this because this is something that I care about a ton. We talk about a ton, right? I agree. I generally agree with your assessment as an opinion.
Well,
however, but to the folks who are watching this, to the people who are, paying attention to the show and things along those lines, we shouldn't be making the decisions based on our opinions. We should be making them based on the data. Well, and I do trust. I don't know. Not only do I trust, I would be floored if anything other than this were the reality that Marriott is actually looking at the data. And Absolutely. Maybe they're saying the data shows that this is going to work really well. Maybe they're saying the data shows that this isn't going to work, or they put it out and it isn't working, and the data tells them that. In which case, your opinion is valid. Your opinion is accurate, rather. Yeah. But we don't have the data to judge that. I would like to see where they go with it going forward. Yeah. I still commend the direction, and does it work as content? Let the data tell us.
And I'm good with that. And my adamancy about video.
Totally. And that's why I'm pushing back so hard.
I love the fact of it, and I'm a video hog about this. And it kind of leads into something else I want to throw out in front of us, because even though Ed's not here, I'm going to make it even grit his teeth. I'm using more and more of a platform called Adobe Spark.
Actually, before we go there, I want to commend you, by the way, for those who don't watch this or who are new to watching this show. Right, Loren is absolutely a proponent of video. The fact that this show exists is because Loren is a proponent of video.
Despite the first-time viewers of the show who are disappointed that Loren is not using his green screen, where you just come on, we need to
put myself on the beach.
We are gonna beat Loren up for this a second, though. It's more of a green towel than a green screen.
It's a green sheet, all right.
Exactly.
And you know what? When I put the beach behind me, you can't tell it's a green sheet, okay? Because it's not green anymore.
What beach, man?
But anyway,
OBS, strangely enough, this is a detriment of Hauser, the platform we're using this on, is it won't let me use the OBS software to use the green screen. I use the green screen to do video ads that I can put backdrop behind me and do video commentary and so forth. But this show, they can't identify the camera.
See, I use the green screen to put guitars behind me.
And that is a great green screen because it's actually 3D effect. You can reach over and grab those damn things and play them.
Right. Woo! Look, they're not even there.
I want to make it cringe. Go ahead.
No. What I do is I actually fly to the location, which is
nice. Yeah.
Right. Actually, you don't know this, but Robert is using a green screen to project that background.
That is his green screen. That is his green screen. Well, considering the mess that's behind the green screen, this is better than what's behind the green screen. Don't look behind the curtain.
But Robert is using a green screen to display a plain white wall.
Yes. He's at Machu Picchu right now, but he won't tell us. All right, so
it's part of that witness protection program.
There it is.
Yes.
All right,
exactly.
So now piss off Ed, even though he's not.
Let's piss off Ed. So I'm using this platform called Spark, which is from Adobe, that allows you to do some really very cool stuff for free, it's pretty neat, where you can do videos for free. You can do what's called Page for free, which is great engagement. I'll send you guys some links, and I'll put some links in the show notes so people can see a little bit of the examples of what I'm talking about. Plus, it allows some great visualization for posting on your social. Why I bring this up. My past couple of weeks with the clients, nameless to be, has created a frustration level that I think I would love you all's opinions and input to. And that is the frustration of what is purchased by clients versus what they expect from what they purchased. From brand, from software providers, from other service providers and PR. Most of my time has been spent in these past 2 weeks digging up the true relationships contractually between the client and what they purchase versus the services they're being given, and the absolute, and I'm not, ineptitude of the service that's being given to them. Because,
or let's just say there's a gap.
Oh, there's a chasm. There's a freaking chasm of well, that's not what we said to do. They thought that they bought that this XYZ company is going to handle all their social, or the XYZ company is going to handle all their digital marketing, until you start reading and seeing what they're not doing. They're waiting to be told what to do. And if you don't tell them what to do, they don't do anything.
Sure.
Okay. And then the client's looking, they're going, wait a minute, you're supposed to tell me what I'm supposed to do, or you're supposed to advise me. You're the expert in that field. That's why I'm giving you a check. You cashed that check. You should be helping me with that process, not telling me you're waiting for me to tell you to do something. And then the first answer is, well, you need to give me these things or these things. It's like, no, you're supposed to go get them or ask for them. You're not supposed to be waiting to be told to be given to them. And so I want to bring that up from a consulting point of view, because I'm the person that comes in and I turn into this pit bull because I call them on their BS and I hold their feet to the fire going, that's not what your contract says. Your contract says this. Well, no. And then they try to give an explanation that contradicts it. It's like, that's not the right answer either. Or you don't have access to it. It just is an amazing frustration.
Is the bottom line that they don't have expertise or the account management or whatever? I mean, some of these organizations, though, there's organizational knowledge,
right?
But they don't have the direct customer facing individual who's some very junior person
good at it. Yeah.
Have no idea what they're doing. They don't know how to access this because they've never done it before. Or you just have the ones who just, they basically try to mine information from the hotel and then just kind of republish.
So regurgitate it. Yeah.
So if I can tell you a great story, and I'm gonna give kudos to Peter Strebel. I'm gonna name names here because Peter Strebel is a guy who I've respected for years. He's an old boss of mine. We worked together at Wyndham. He is now the chief marketing officer for Omni. And we were reviewing an agency once upon a time. An agency came in to give us a pitch. And Peter had a very crazy day and everything else. And these people came in and gave a brilliant pitch. And it was all top level folks from a really good agency. And, he said, this is great, but I have one question. He said, how many of the people in this room are going to be working on my account?
Exactly.
And how many of the people who will be working on my account are in this room? And literally all there were people with the little Charlie Brown wavy line mouths, like right? And Peter said, okay, well, thanks for your time. And he got up and he left.
Right.
And that was the end of the meeting.
And
it
the
was
most powerful
exactly the right question.
That's always a great question. And the best one for the agencies are someone goes, that's me.
Right.
And
exactly.
that's why I'm here. And I haven't been saying a lot because these guys are really smart.
Well, I would add another.
I'm your guy. Take that with you. I'm the person responsible for this brain trust.
Okay.
And your needs, and I'm the guy who's going to make that work.
But I would add another question to that. Through the life of my contract, you're that person.
No, you can't do that.
Oh, well, they won't do that.
You can't do that.
Because here's the problem.
You can't do it, Laura.
The problem is that this person is going to be the account manager and they're going to be the facilitator, like you said, the liaison, for the first 90 days.
No,
I understand the length and duration. Quantify, say, for the first year of my contract, you're my guy. I understand you can get promoted, you can quit, you can change. I understand the realities of the world, but
then
you're going to be that guy.
You can't put that in a contract.
No, but what you say is we have a process for if I'm not that individual.
There you go.
I take meticulous notes on all of your needs.
Right.
We have this documented. The traffic department does this. The creative guys do that. all of that, none of that gets lost with me. I get hit by a bus tomorrow morning. That's fine. We keep going.
And that's the answers that you need to be asking. Right. That's completely, yes. Yeah, that's the stuff that needs to be clarified, because the brain trust of creativity walks out the door and goes to the next client acquisition. They don't facilitate the perpetuation of what they sold the previous client. They get handed down. Agencies profitize themselves by going over and assigning static processes to lower paid people so that their profit margin can be grown. We know that. We all know that. So the problem is that the client doesn't know that, and the client's sitting off thinking that something's getting handled until they don't see the results from it, and then they start doing this cat and mouse game of asking the right question to get the right answer to get the right thing done.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. You've got to get the agency selection process to get the right fit.
Right.
Also.
Bingo.
Right? Because number one is, some groups, they go for the really big agencies because that's safer, right? Nobody ever gets fired for
hiring IBM. Right.
Mm-hmm. So that's fine, except yes, who's going to be handling your stuff? Right. That's tough. So a lot of people go, nah, I don't want that. Then they go to a really, really small boutique agency. And that's great. And the person's fantastic. But then there's a falling out between the partners, or somebody married and leaves. Or, who knows, whatever.
They can't pay the salary increases, and the people that were talented.
Or they take another account that just completely sucks the air out of the out of the business. So you don't want to go too small because of that. And people who just go forget that, and then you get somewhere in the middle that's still, both of those things can still happen.
Fit probably matters more than anything else. Culture matters more than anything else. Do you agree philosophically? Do you work well together? Loren, I agree with everything that you're saying conceptually. In practice, what you have to determine is, are the people that they're working with doing this because they're not competent? Are they doing this because they're inefficient? Are they doing this because they are not being held to a valid standard? It's one of the reasons I'm data-driven, because, you as a hotel, you're watching this. You don't have to know how to do the things you're hiring the agency to do. You do have to know, I want to be very fair about this, you do have to know what the questions are that you need to ask those agencies.
Yes.
Right? And if you don't know the questions to ask, then you need to hire a Loren, you need to hire a me, you need to hire a Robert to help you understand what those questions are. And then we'll go away, and then you can just run the agency, right? But it is incumbent on you that if you're spending the money, that you need to know what the questions are. You need to ask these folks. And in your specific case, Loren, as you're talking about, I had a client, I've told this story before, where the agency they were using was either stealing from them or was just grossly incompetent. There was no possible way that one of those two things wasn't true, because they couldn't be that bad at it rather, unless they were, intentional, or they were idiots. There is simply no middle ground.
But I bet in fairness to them, they were probably consistent.
I often find that those kind of scenarios usually involved a previous marketing agency that tried to turn into a digital agency, and they just didn't invest in skilled resources. Usually I find that usually is those people usually hit. But that brings me to something. I'm glad you did this, and I feel
this was somebody who read search engine marketing for dummies, and assumed that the for dummies was the critical aspect of the book.
That's right. Well, actually I feel pretty smart, because I wanted to bring us to this point that we represent a certain resource of value. Just three of us. Ed, of course, can contribute to the conversation on a much different level as well. But I wanted to start doing some snippets of answers to questions. And I don't know whether to call it Marketing Minute Mondays or 5-Minute Fridays or whatever the hell we want to call it, but something fun, because we get questions from people. So, hey, Susie Q asked, I'm talking to my agency about doing Facebook ads, and they're telling me about Canva ads. Is that something I should be interested in? And for 1 minute or a couple of minutes, we just answer a question. So I don't know whether to introduce it to the show here as a component of it, which God knows we already have enough stuff on that we talk about, or whether we just do something of a snippet off set. We all have cameras on our computers, and I can share questions, and you can pop on the camera, do a quick video recording, and I post it up or something. But I think we can have some fun with this, where it's just little snippets. You're talking about content lead, generation, interesting stuff. It's like, this is just a quick answer that takes a minute or two to answer, or at least a minute or two to point in the right direction. We may not be able to give a complete, how do I do Facebook ads? Of course not. We're just going to say Facebook ads are good for you in the following circumstance, or that circumstance is good to do it in, whatever. But I think if we did something, it'd be kind of fun because I know it's somewhat arduous. I mean, Holly's wonderful for being not only a part of our team as a co-host, which she doesn't show her beautiful face very often, but she's in behind the scenes fact checking on a regular basis. And we have Sean Williams pop in from time to time. We have Eric Dorr that pops in that keeps consistent with us, and we can kind of share this whole thing where everyone can't listen for the length of the show all the time. Right, so maybe if we do these little snippets we throw out there that says, "Hey, this is the answer to this following question," we can keep people leading and getting the information we want them to have.
And I'll put it, since I like data, I'll put it to the audience. If you're watching right now and you want to give us a thumbs up in the comment box if you like it, or if you're watching this later, make a comment on Facebook or something like that. I'm getting a horrible echo, by the way.
I'm getting a big echo too.
I think you turned up your speakers or something, Loren.
No, nothing's changed for me, but hold on. I'll turn something down.
But nonetheless, I think it's a great idea. I'm absolutely in. I think it makes a lot of sense because there are a lot of questions that, I get, Robert, I'm sure you get, Loren, I know you get, because you just told us a moment ago. But there are a lot of questions that, you don't need to hire a consultant to answer, a quick question about, why are Facebook ads something I should even look at, right? Whether or not Facebook ads are right for you, that's a deeper question. But why should I even consider them? That's a question that can be answered in 2 minutes or something along those lines.
Yep.
So, yeah,
and actually, terrific. And just I saw an interesting news article. Actually, a lot of consumer product goods companies they're still using Facebook ads, but they've decided not to use the targeting aspects of them. That they've rolled back, and they're now using it for general kind of broadcast type stuff, which is interesting, because now again, these are CPG companies, right? But again, for really highly targeted, if it's luxury brands and fashion, things like that, those guys are doing. I'm looking for a high income consumer.
Do you know why the targeting doesn't matter to those folks? This is really important, and it's a place where. I actually have a CPG customer. I know a bit about this specifically. And it's a place where I try to tell people all the time, you can learn a lot from other industries. Yeah. This is one you don't want to learn from CPG specifically. Mm-hmm. And the reason is because their entire business model is built around scale.
Right.
Period.
Absolutely. Yep.
Period. They don't make money on selling one more box of soap powder. They make their money on selling, 1 billion more boxes of soap.
Right. Yeah. That everybody needs for an extended period of time.
Right. They don't want targeting. They want reach. They want pure, I need to show this to every person in the universe because over time I will get 3 of them to switch from buying brand A to buying brand B, and they'll buy brand B forever. And that's how I'll make my money. Obviously, in a hotel context or in a travel context, that's a very different reality, right? Yeah. So their whole thing is targeting the exact opposite of what they need.
No, it's interesting. We had a discussion for the HSMAI Digital Marketing Council, talked about the conference and things like that that's coming up in February.
Indeed.
Which is going to be great. And part of the things we're looking at what you can learn from other industries and things like that. And there are, I think Tim raised a great point. There are pluses and minuses to that because it's not, or even just other hotel groups.
Oh yeah.
It's just like, hey, this worked for them. Let's try that for. It's like, whoa, hang on. Yeah, you've got to have something that there's the context of what are you trying to do, what are your objectives and strategies, what's your market environment, and then that's a pretty high probability. Not just that another hotel in the world did this and it worked, and we're just going to shoot it out of the shotgun, but you got a better than average probability this might work. That's okay, and maybe that's good enough for them versus no, we really need to make sure this works.
There's a great, my favorite podcast in the world. I listen to it religiously. Is called StOnge.
StOnge.
Yeah, by Ben Thompson and James something. I'm blanking on his name at the moment. Ben is a former Microsoft employee and has his own. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. The podcast is called Exponent. Ben Thompson is from StOnge, He's a blogger / industry analyst, and his whole model is built around paid content. People actually subscribe to his daily update for analysis and things like that, and he posts one post a week that is free. James, whose name I can't remember, is a former Adobe employee, or
James Allworth.
James Allworth. Thank you. What's the company that does all the customer surveys? A lot of folks use them in the hospitality industry. They do like post-stay surveys and big.
Holly, where are you?
No.
It's sponsored. No, it says presented by MailChimp.
MailChimp is sponsoring it now. Anyway, here's my point. They've had a run of shows over the last couple months where they make a brilliant point, and it's something that they go back to again and again and again. So you can listen to almost any random episode, and there's a pretty good shot this will come up, is that, the things that work for Google because their entire company is set up for them to work for Google. The things that work for Apple because the entire company is built around a certain way of doing things. The things that work for Amazon because the entire company. And if Amazon tried to do what Apple does or tried to do what Google does, they will fail at it most of the time, because that's not what they actually do.
And that's a very good point with Amazon and travel. Amazon's taken kicks at the travel cat 4 times and failed miserably on each one, because that's not. Now, could they be great at travel? Yes, they could be freaking amazing at travel. Actually, just before this, I listened to Morgan Stanley did an interesting little video between their internet analyst, their e-commerce analyst, and basically their bricks and mortar analyst, right? So there was kind of a bricks and clicks type. They said incremental spend on commerce, right? 55% of it is Amazon. 55% of the growth this year in commerce spend was Amazon, and the power now of Prime is just daunting. Because the woman was talking about fashion and things like that, and they said, wow, she was really kind of going into it, Amazon going into fashion, that might not work. Knocking it out of the park. Absolutely crazy, which even the experts who really follow these stocks really understand. Completely top by.
To go back to go ahead.
Actually, I just want to tie a bow on this one real quick. So when you're looking at other companies or other hotel companies or companies outside the industry, one of the things you have to look at is, what are the conditions that lead them to success, and are those conditions in which we also succeed, right? Because what you want to do is look for like. When it's not a like, you do want to say, okay, what about that work that also would work in the conditions that enable us to succeed, right? That's how you borrow from other industries. I think people know this. About half of my clients are in the hospitality industry. About half in a given year. About half of my clients in a given year are not. So I've spent the last 6 years, since I started my firm, to say nothing of my career prior, working across industries and trying to find where the commonality is, right? And there's a lot of lessons you can take from them. But like Amazon is a tough company to copy if you're a hospitality company, because what Amazon is really good at is building a platform. Right? Amazon is a platform company fundamentally that connects a merchant to a buyer. If you look at everything they do, I mean, even AWS, it's a platform that allows people to build services to provide services to customers. If you look at Marketplace, it's exactly what it says on the tin. It's a marketplace, right? If you're a hotel company, it's very hard to be a platform, right? Now, Ed, Flip 2. Yeah, they could copy what Amazon does conceptually, because they are a platform, right? Alice is a platform, right?
And the companies that are kind of winning in this economy are the platforms. Apple is
Apple's not a platform. I disagree. Apple's a terrible platform.
Terrible platform?
Yeah, sure. The one place that they've been a platform is the App Store. And the App Store makes a lot of money by any normal company standards, right? but how much money does the App Store make as a share of their overall revenue? It is not a big number. They make most of their money by selling this.
Hardware, right.
Just pure hardware. It's not a platform. It is a product. It's a pure product. It's a self-contained product. Ostensibly, right? Not a platform. Google is not a platform largely. It is also a product. It's just a product that is more services focused than physical.
Quick survey, quick question. I mean, I know that you
would disagree. I will go with you on that. I was looking at Apple as developing the platform for communication with the App Store and having it, used. I would say they're a product because of their decision to really make it a walled garden.
Well, because but because that's also what they're really good at. Right. And people are like, if Apple's going to succeed in the longer term, they need to become more of a services company, right? Except guess what? That's not what they're good at. They're really, that may be true, but what they're really good at is building and shipping and making product.
Right. Well, and that's the same thing with the wrap on Microsoft. Microsoft is really good at developing software and these operating systems, but now, how do they become more of the?
Well, what they did really well, and actually, I want to bring this back to the Exponent podcast because I didn't say this. This is actually something Ben Thompson said. Microsoft was a platform. Microsoft was entirely a platform. Bill Gates used to say, and this is coming straight out of the Exponent podcast, but I looked it up, so I know it's true. Bill Gates used to say that the number one measure that they looked at to tell if they were succeeding was what share of the revenue in the ecosystem were they responsible for.
Right.
And every time that number went up, that was a bad thing because they wanted to ensure that they were creating a platform on which lots of other people would build, grow the ecosystem, thus growing demand for their product. But they didn't want to, they were something like a third of all the money generated from Windows was generated from all the stuff people built on top of Windows. Excuse me. Only a third was Windows, and the other 2/3 were all the stuff built on top of it. And if that number went up to like 50%, they were doing something very, very, very wrong.
Right. Yeah.
Let me ask you a question for you guys.
Yeah.
Do you have an Echo, Tim?
I have 3 of them. There's one I have an Echo Dot right there, and I have 2 Echoes in various other parts of the house.
And Robert, do you have an Echo?
I do not.
Okay. Are you considering getting Google Assistant? Are you going to wait for Apple to come up with flavor?
I have my Android with Google Now.
Right.
And I will have as soon as and talk about Google being bad at product. Because I would say Google's not when they make things like Apple, they're really bad at it.
Correct. Because they're not set up to do that kind of product.
Right.
Google Now is a great service.
Right.
Because it's a self-contained, really good product that happens to live virtually.
Okay.
Yeah, well, and it works really well on my Android. Now, my contract is up, right? I'm ready. I've got my Nexus 6, a Google phone manufactured by, Motorola. I'm ready. They come out perfect timing. Here's the Pixel. The Pixel XL, that's the one I want. I need the 128 gigabyte. I need it in black. Day one, I want this thing. I'm on the waiting list. Have not heard a thing back. That was in October. Right? Still going. Those things, Verizon sold out. They underestimated the demand for it. And now people are going out and they're buying other stuff. They're giving up. And I think they had the date November 26th for Verizon. Oops, they came back that was a typo. That was supposed to be December 26th. I don't think so. So it's and now it's somewhere in January when these things are actually expected to be available.
Right.
Where you can even
bad
order
at the physical product side. So Loren, finish your question because
So what I'm saying is that I'm going to wait to see what Apple has to offer to market first quarter next year. I think is going to anticipate this home thing that combat with Google. So right now I'm more in preference if I had to choose just between the 2 available market, I'm looking more towards the Google Assistant just because of its potential of it, not its reality of it. However, Echo, its reality is exceptionally cool, aka Expedia's continued growth into voice recognition, where
nice transition.
Yeah, you like that? Yeah, because we threw a little article out there. Is voice going to be the new search? And we talked about that before. And
yes,
a couple of things we popped up.
Voice is the new UI.
Is the new UI.
It's the new UI. But also, they're already doing click attribution based on voice queries on Google Assistant. They're not able to do that on Echo right now. Okay. Yep. And the question I have for you, Tim, have you hacked your Echo by doing IFTTT products with it or anything?
No,
because
I don't.
It opens crazy things. I mean, it does some crazy.
You are more a hacker than I am when it comes to that kind of stuff, Loren. I am the guy who. Why do I use a lot of Apple stuff? Because it just works. Right? Why do I own the Echo? Because it does exactly what I want it to do.
Right. Yes, very true.
At some point, if I find a little free time in my, with my copious free time,
of course,
maybe I'll tweak something. But as a general rule, like I was the guy, I used to build my own Linux boxes years ago and things along those lines. I used to do a lot of that stuff. These days, in my last industry job before I went to work, before I started my business, I was the guy who I would get a new phone and I would hand it to one of the IT guys and said, bring it back to me when it does all the stuff my last one did. And by the way, ideally, that's going to be an hour from now.
I'd probably be that guy you're handing to is like, yes, sir, Mr. Peter.
Well, no, I didn't mean it in a jerk way, but it was just like, I need it to work and I need it to work right now.
Oh yeah.
So no, I don't spend a lot of my time on that. Okay. When I do get free time, that's what I play with.
Exactly.
Well, and it's like hacking fatigue. Almost,
yeah.
Right? I used to I had an AT&T Windows phone way back when it was a Tilt, right? It was actually a great phone. Operating system, AT&T had the thing, you couldn't do high-speed data. They had all this stuff, all these limiters built in, a bunch of bloatware. I got an operating system, XDA developers, amazing website, right, to hack your phones. You go through an operating system guy did, basically worked up a ROM from Surabaya, right, in Indonesia. The thing was freaking amazing, right? It just unlocked the potential of the phone. I used to do a lot of that, and then it's just like the stuff doesn't work, and you just start go and kind of that fatigue.
Yeah.
And actually, that was the one point I was going to make on the Facebook advertising, is there seems to be a little bit of fatigue setting it in terms of like brands running these ads and things like that it's starting to kind of curtail, because it was new. Twitter had the same thing, right? People were all over Twitter. It was taking off, and then it was kind of like, wow, really maintain.
I'm not going to try to beat the Facebook drum on advertising, but it's because of inept ability to really leverage the advertising functionalities that they're getting poor results, so they're getting diminished interest. I mean, there are massive case success stories in the Facebook ecosystem for advertising for people that are really savvy about how to manipulate it. All too often, every time I deal with people saying, "Oh, we do Facebook advertising," they have retargeting. It's like a monkey with the red button, man. They just beat the crap out of the retargeting.
Yep.
You visit their website, and then you can't get rid of that shit in your newsfeed for 5 weeks. They don't know when to shut it off, Yep. And that to them, that's Facebook advertising. No, that's Facebook abuse. Right. You're getting more pissed off people that aren't going to buy your product because you're being stupid about your advertising. But the reason why we bring this up is like, okay, so we have the voice activation and the searchability for it. We know that the ecosystem for assistance is growing now with Google and with Echo, and will eventually be with Apple with Siri's integration on everything. And then there's the VR stuff. I mean, I don't know how many damn VR ads I've seen on TV promoting virtual reality. How many? I mean, you look on TV and they're nothing. They're pushing it for Christmas. Because they want people to get engaged with this idea that this is the new TV. This is the new engagement process to stuff.
No, actually, let's be fair. They want people to keep buying devices that they sell so they can hit their numbers next quarter.
Well, of course that. But they want to be
VR and AR. I do think VR and AR are going to be very important, especially for travel. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
But we're nowhere near critical mass yet.
No. Right. Oh gosh, no by far.
Not and also, I don't think
and the critical mass on what platform?
Correct.
Right.
Well, and also, I don't think they're going to be a bunch of people that, as they travel, are going to slap on this big old goggle thing to get some sort of aspect of what they're looking around for. Augmented reality is going to be much more fundamental than that. It's going to be holding up your phone, kind of like the Yelp monocle-esque kind of thing, where you can look around and quickly see stuff that you're interested in the proximity that you can identify with. I think that kind of stuff is going to float through. I don't think this, aspirational travel will be a high aspect of VR. And of course, the ability to do pre-planning VR coming in, AR as well, coming into the process of the pre-planning visualization stage of being able to see yourself there and being there to really get a feel for where you're going to, if you're interested in that kind of stuff. So I see those kind of things. There are some articles that we had that we don't have the time, because I know, Tim, we're going to lose you in about 15 minutes.
Yeah, I am going to put one link up, and I am posting a link to something I did. I want to point out something about that. I did a podcast 2 months ago that I have some thoughts on this. I'm going to summarize it real quickly.
Oh, we lost
Robert. Maybe Robert tried to share his screen, or you did.
No.
I think that I'm going to tell you what I think is a likely scenario. I don't know that it will be the scenario, but I just posted a link to a podcast episode I did a couple months back called "The Future of Digital" arrived last week. And it really was about the Apple ear pods, I think they call them, right? Mm-hmm. Which are the new wireless headphones. And the reason I think that they're really important is because, and specifically for travel, is because they will drive a certain degree of augmented reality. When you can simply talk to your device wherever you are without pulling a phone out of your pocket or anything like that, because you've constantly got a microphone and a speaker attached to you and a voice interface that works, which that is the kicker that nobody's doing too well today. Mm-hmm. That's something, whereas you're wandering around a new city and you're traveling and things along those lines, and suddenly you get an alert of, hey, this is a famous monument, or this is the kind of museum that you always like, or this is the kind of restaurant that you always like, or things along those lines. And you're just being told that, or saying, hey, Siri, what are some great restaurants around here right now? See, it didn't work well. But if it did,
just even going to the subway system.
Telling you, right. And it's simply telling you in your head, in your earpiece all the time, much like the Her experience, for those who remember the movie Her.
Yep. Well, also 24 Hour, the TV show where his phone mysteriously always had scheme, they could download all the blueprints of the building he was in. And, then you had, the talking assistants where, the Mission Impossible stuff where it's like, take a left turn now, take a right turn now, that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
You start getting that kind of level of engagement because of the location-based value of it. Yeah, absolutely to it.
And I think that's a more likely, reality of how people will interact with this stuff. So I think AR is more important than VR from an overall travel experience perspective. Are we going to see that in 2017? Probably not at critical mass, but with the huge caveat that mobile got big really fast, right? What's the I'm going to get this wrong. It's there's an old expression that bamboo, right? First it sleeps, then it creeps, then it leaps, right? And mobile worked that way, and a lot of technology works that way, where you don't really see it. Like, some early adopters have it and the like, but you don't really see it for a long time. It's sleeping. Then suddenly it gets to build up a little momentum, and it gets to a place, it's the pre-tipping point, and then it hits the tipping point and it leaps, and suddenly it went from some people had it to everybody has it. Mm-hmm. And I think voice interactions are going to be one of those things. And I think Google does a better job of it than Apple does today. I think Amazon does a better job of it than Google does from a voice recognition perspective, but not from an answering the question perspective. And one of those three is going to come up with the product that actually does it. So my point about this podcast I posted isn't that Apple's going to win, but it's that they are introducing the first product that is the take it with you everywhere. And in theory, it just works. They may not execute. An Amazon or a Google might be the one who executes. Yeah. But I think it's going to be really important to travel as we go forward.
Did we just piss you off and you decide, screw it, I'm leaving the show?
I did. Tim said something I didn't like, so I just...
Was that? Yeah, we're just...
upstream internet thing where I was getting really jumbled things. I restarted. Everything seems to be good.
Cool. Hey, to share some stuff about the show that, for one, you had brought up, Robert, about the Digital Marketing Conference for HSMAI that's coming up in February 22nd. There is also the Adrian Awards, which is February 21st, the night before, which is, I mean, all of us have judged for it. Tim, you've been on the Platinum board for a while with the judging, which is the premier award out of the Adrian Awards. Some absolutely phenomenal, I mean, an overwhelming number of submissions this year. A daunting judging. When I started looking at the categorizations and the numbers in the categories, I'm like, holy crap, I'm glad we have a lot of judges. But there was a lot of good content for it. There's amazing winners that I'm aware of, or at least there should be from what I was looking at. There's going to be some amazing people that are coming through of things that they did innovation-wise and success-wise. And we're going to get some of those into the conference, the Digital Marketing Conference the next day. They're going to present some of their winnings as to what they did to succeed and get their awards. But with that, we are also been granted via HSMAI the ability to live coverage the Digital Marketing Conference. That doesn't mean that we get to live broadcast the presentations, because that's what the people paid to get to when they're there. But we get to do a coverage of the content that's being presented in the show, in the conference, so that you get a flavor and a feel for what, if you're not able to attend, what you're missing, and some insights to give value to what we're broadcasting for. Some things that were shared that we get to share shortly after it was presented to the people that are in the audience. So we will be doing the live coverage of it. Also, in a more tighter collaboration with HSMAI, we have secured that the members of their councils and boards, the people that have upped their volunteerism within the HSMAI structure, to volunteer into the organization and management of HSMAI. These are industry leaders through all spectrum: sales, marketing, revenue management, operations. They are now being tasked to participate in our live show on a weekly basis. And we are putting together an editorial calendar, event calendar, that synchronizes with the events that HSMAI is doing, with people's willingness to participate on topics that we collaboratively will assign based on the time of year, business cycle, based on the industry type, in the sense of whether it be revenue management, or not industry type, but on segment type of whether it be revenue management, marketing, sales, operations. And they will join us maybe 2 or 3 at a time even. So we should be expecting a lot more persistent visitation from these board and council members from HSMAI through the coming year. Like I said, they are actually having to sign up to participate in the show. So we get to go over and have some pretty interesting conversations with them. And that will be for the first 20 to 30 minutes of the show is what we're anticipating, gentlemen. I think that's what we all talked about from before, where they get to kind of bring their unique perspective on whatever the topic is that we're bringing to the table that day. So that's some fun things for it. Some other interesting news. We did get hit with the Facebook bump. Remember when the visitation was supposedly turned down, that the numbers were being over-exaggerated? Mm-hmm. Well, technically, we lost around 200 plus people that weren't there. We were averaging over 1,000 viewers a week with Facebook Live and with the reproduction on Hausa. That didn't include YouTube, and that didn't include recently Periscope. Periscope last week was our first live Periscope live show that we did, and this is the second one. We had almost 300 people watch us on Periscope last week. Wow. For a dying channel, that's impressive. But Twitter's really pushing their Periscope. They should have done what they did with Periscope recently 2 years ago. They should have kept it as a separate entity. They should have incorporated it faster. They had a wonderful live opportunity they didn't take advantage of, but they seem to be getting smarter, maybe just a little too late. But we had almost 300 people from it. And I looked at our pre-show Instagram live, which I did. This is the first live Instagram I've done. And we had 117 people watch us on our pre-show. So I don't know to add those numbers on top or just to say they're a part of the mix of what is the average of 1,000 followers a week. We also have YouTube that runs into the 100-ish people that watch us on YouTube as a replay. And then Hausa usually runs about another 100-ish plus on it as well. So, or 200, actually, the last one was 200. So all in all, Jim, we're hanging around 1,000 people that listen to our happy chatter. So congratulations.
All right. Well, no, congratulations to you, Loren. You are the mastermind of
the
this
driving force.
I'm the editing studio where I get to take out the words shit and go beep. I think that all the presented potential topics we've touched on one form or fashion, other than a couple of acquisition ones. One thing we didn't talk in depth was La Quinta's membership rewards program that they say they're rolling out into 17. I don't know whether you had a chance to look at that, but we have a few minutes if you want to maybe just wrap that. we hit all the bells today or something. Unless there was something else you all wanted to talk about.
I will tell you, I haven't read the details. I think it's an interesting move. I think it's a recognition of the importance of loyalty, but having not spent much time with the actuals of what they're doing, I don't feel comfortable. Okay. I don't know that I can add a lot of value to that topic today. But perhaps our next show.
But for that sector, that's frequency programs and recognition are great tools, because a lot of folks don't necessarily expect that. The bar is relatively low, and if you can do a decent job. We rolled out the first limited service program at Journey's End in, my God, that was like 88.
By the way, Journey's End is the new Fairmont.
Was that before Four Seasons? Just after Cornell? Because we got to make sure those
Four Seasons. Can I say? I will say one thing about this, and I always tread lightly when Wyndham comes up because of my relationships there and things along those lines. I will say that Wyndham's been getting a lot of very positive press and apparently some very positive business results because they revamped their loyalty program. Because in the economy and limited service place, Robert's exactly right. It's not a place where loyalty has tended to work as well, just because of the nature of the type of traveler you're dealing with and the frequency with which they travel, or more specifically, the lack of frequency with which they travel. So I think La Quinta probably, realized what was going on there, or saw what was going on there, and said, "Hey, we've got some opportunity to innovate as well." So I suspect this is their take on it.
Right.
And I don't mean that in a Wyndham got there first case, because it doesn't matter who got there first. It matters who did it best. So if they're doing what's right for their customer, that's
I think anytime somebody gets the limelight off of them for a while, because they were under the spotlight for a while as to what they're going to be doing in reaction to all the merging and other brands' motions and so forth. And when that light kind of they had a chance to focus on some stuff. Just to give you some insight on the highlight that I enjoyed most about this reward program was it is connected to non-hotel purchases as well. You're able to get points and reward systems based on other purchases, much like a credit card relation. You see everybody's going out there for their membership credit cards now. So you can get reward points for outside ancillary things and have the points either pay towards your hotel or vice versa. The points you acquire in your stays with the hotel can discount what your purchases are in a later credit. So it allows for more than the frequent traveler on that scale of travel, that they can get and use points more interactively, which they can do the reward system right away. They don't have to hit thresholds for these things to happen. They can burn and use as they acquire them, which adds value.
And very important for La Quinta, because they don't have the aspirational product where people save and they go, "Oh my gosh, I 3 more stays and then I can go stay at the something a couple of tiers up."
The Hawaii problem isn't a problem for them.
Yes,
exactly. Right. So but I mean, and even way back with the Journey's End, I mean, all we wanted was kind of an address, right? So we could communicate with them, and we didn't really use their phone number, but what did they get? All they really got was a priority reservation line, because our reservation lines would be jammed, because there was no way we could have surplus demand, and there wasn't enough supply, because you'd just be going, "We're sold out, we're sold out, we're sold out."
Right.
So these guys we put into the queue, and then the ability to communicate with them. You could send them little notes, not just about, yes, there's a new property opening 2,000 miles away from you, which is just ridiculous, which I have seen done before, which is like, especially through email, right? "Oh, here's our new," it's like, but I don't travel there, I could care less. But things when a property opened in their local area, and you could just say, "Hey, just wanted you to know if you have any friends, that sort of thing. We're here," and let them use, tell them about the number or whatever, or have them sign up. And it worked. Right, because all of a sudden there'd be like this little boost of the local people going, "Oh yeah, you're coming. Hey, there's this really good place that just opened up, and I use them, and this is a no-brainer."
So do you like Marketing Minute Mondays, or do you like 5-Minute Fridays, or it's something else?
Minute Mondays.
Sure, Minute Mondays. Why not?
Okay, Marketing Minute Mondays. All right. Like I said, I'm going to take some field questions on it and just start there. Anyway, Tim, you were going to say, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, we could do limited service. You could go motel marketing Minute Mondays. There you go. You could be really targeted. So
And on that note, gentlemen, it is coming up on 12 o'clock Central, 1 o'clock Eastern. Unfortunately, I do have to bail. I will not be around next week. Friday is my first day off that I will have had in the last couple months, and possibly my last day off for a while.
So when will you sober up from that day? Is it going to be on Christmas, or are you just going to pass it the whole
Friday? Just that Friday.
I'm sorry.
Oh, what day do you plan on sobering up from that first day? I mean, are you going to?
Exactly. Well, I hope you have a great holiday. I hope you have a terrific Christmas, a fantastic Hanukkah, and enjoy the holidays all together. But I will see you all after Christmas. So I hope you have a great week and enjoy.
Thank you so much, Mr. Tim. As always, if anyone wants to reach out and talk to you more or find out more about what you do, is it that they find you?
TimPeter.com is the easiest way to connect with everything. Or if you're looking for me on Twitter, I have the handle @TCPeter. But you can find me all the other social places you might expect to.
And a website that has literally everything you ever wanted to know about anything for any reason whatsoever.
I didn't even know that worked, by the way. That was kind of funny. I have no idea who set up that redirect or why, but that's pretty fantastic. I was pretty pleased about that.
Hey, just so you will be on the show after Christmas, you think, before New Year's, so we get to see you one more
time? I suspect so, yeah. I think you'll see me once more before the year ends, just not next Friday.
No, we're not a worry. Please enjoy your time. Well earned and well deserved. And thank you for taking the time, as you always do on Fridays, to be with us, because sometimes it's so much juggle.
Always a pleasure.
Take care, Mr. Tim.
Gentlemen, have a great holiday. I'll see you in a couple weeks.
Have a happy holiday to you. Merry Christmas. Take care. Mr. Robert, we are the closers.
Well, I can say I will not be here next week or the week after.
We're not going to get you for the rest of the year. Oh, no.
I am done for the year. So
come on. Can't you just come on and be like, drunk Robert or something, waddle over to the computer, turn it on, be drinking?
I could do that. And I've been told I'm going to be on a Princess cruise ship.
Oh, that's right. You're cruising it. Yeah,
and the 30th is a day at sea. And I've actually worked with Sprint where I can use their data program on the cruise ship. And it is only $12 per megabyte. So,
only 12 per megabyte? My gosh, that's a bargain.
Yeah. So I figure this show doing it, I don't know what it would be. At
least a gig. I think you can buy the boat by the time you're done.
Yeah. So yeah. We could
12 bucks a meg. Are you really?
Oh yeah. I've advised my family, you're keeping your phones on airplane mode until we are off the dock, just in case you don't sink into the. Yeah.
If you want to, there's a neat app called Firefly. I'll send you the link. It's what it is it's in proximity. You're in range. So if you want to keep up with the family, we can go back and forth to each other. That was what was used in Hong Kong when they shut down the internet for the umbrella movement. It was an app so that what happens is people could connect to each other via this. It turns almost making your phone into a walkie-talkie, let's say.
But it's not Wi-Fi.
It's not Wi-Fi. Well, excuse me. It is Wi-Fi, but you're on your own broadcast. You literally broadcast to each other. So it's not using anybody's Wi-Fi. You're not connecting to a Wi-Fi. Your phone broadcasts Wi-Fi. Their phone broadcasts Wi-Fi, and you identify each other.
It's basically peer-to-peer.
Peer-to-peer. It's peer-to-peer. It's fire something. Hold on, I'll tell you in just a second here.
Fire something.
Something. Fire in the hole. Okay, fire.
Oh, that's going to be the tip of the week. So.
Fire Talk.
Android and iPhone.
I don't know about Android. I'm an iOS guy. I got it on iOS.
Now see,
I know, but you know what? Considering that this happened in Hong Kong, I'm assuming that Android's probably got it too. But it's called Fire Talk.
I'm looking it up right.
Nice.
Well, this says host your next live event on Fire Talk.
Oh, maybe it's not Fire Talk. Hold
live video.
No, that maybe it's not Fire Talk. Damn it. Hold on. That's because that's what we have the 24-hour channel on. Yeah, you're right. Hold on. Okay. Let me go back and find my little fire thing. Fire.
See, Holly's not here to fact check. I got to do it.
Yeah, you got to fact check. Crap.
So anyway, while we're doing that, the topic that I think is interesting, because we talked about the acquisitions of KKR looking at certainly acquiring Apple leisure group, which has AM Resorts, which has Dreams and Secrets and all of those brands, a variety of them. Sunscape now, they've got a bunch of them. All inclusive resorts, and then Playa going public, which is also all inclusive resorts. So a lot of play in that market. Hyatt now has Ziva and Zilara, which are Playa properties. And it's interesting because I mentioned I'm going on a cruise. I really equate the appeal of the cruise market to the appeal of the all-inclusive market, because the cruises, yes, everything's included, or well, not as much as it's included at say the all-inclusive resorts in Mexico and the Dominican Republic, but you go from port to port. The other ones, you just kind of stay put, and you have the same things. You have buffets, you have a la carte dining, you have entertainment, you have recreation, all those sorts of things. And yeah, I've got to think that that's going to be a growth market. You know, certainly cruises are growing, but it's always been kind of the purview of tour operators and things like that, and lots of people traveling. A number of people who love Iberostars or Rius or a lot of these Spanish chains, which huge swaths of the American public just have no idea what they are. The research we used to do at Mark Travel showed that like 80% at least 80% of the travelers would, if they took an all-inclusive vacation, they would love it, right? They would come out with this massively high net promoter score on it, just because it simplifies so much of the travel experience. And now a lot of these properties are really doing excellent jobs.
Well, they're able to quantify the entire relationship, and they can do that whole. You and I've had these discussions about dynamic pricing and so forth, because you're able to mix and match, knowing what the yield margins are on each aspect that the person's including or not including, and so you can really create a price structure and service structure in combination with that is manageable and from a profitable sense, and people enjoy the fact that they feel like they're getting value add by the inclusions of things, but that they're choosing because of the reduction in mutual costs associated with everything. So yeah,
that's right. Well, and groups like Riu, they run their properties like cruise ships. They run full. That's how they make money. And so you can get deals, you know, they will fill the thing up, and it drives a lot of their competitors crazy because they're like, oh, they're trashing the market with pricing. But it's like, nope, they're just pricing it right to make sure that they're going to run full over those. So they don't have churn of staff. They aren't running entertainment programs with empty houses and things like that. You don't have just empty, everybody's having fun, everybody's doing it, and you've got kind of the energy in the property just continuing, which is what they do on cruise ships. They don't want people who are just like, geez, the ship's empty, this is horrible. And that gives you opportunities to go sell a lot of value added type thing. You got tours and other excursions and other, you know, things you can add. You know, yes, I would like champagne to go celebrate X. Well, that's great. That's incremental revenue for you. And these guys, I think another misconception is that they're just all kind of trashy low end hotels. They're just really kind of this miserable buffet and mass market. Not the case. I mean, no. We've got actually some friends in Riviera Maya right now, and I was recommending, I said, oh, you need to stay at this one place. I don't know. I love it. It's great. There's actually Excellence in Playa Mujeres. It's just north of Cancun, really close striking distance to Cancun, where Riviera Maya, Playa del Carmen's great. I mean, yeah, you can go have some fun there. But this place is very good. Just named the best all-inclusive resort in the world by, I can't remember, some relatively reputable group. I mean, there are a lot of people who come up with kind of squirrely awards and things. But I think even the first kind of mid-December, which is certainly not peak period right before the holidays, they're getting over, I think it was $550 a night per person, which ain't bad. Yeah, that's pretty good. But they do a great job, and you get great food. And I mean, you get lobster, and it's just not this crappy stuff.
Right.
It's good quality food. The rooms are large. They've got jacuzzis in them. You've got swim up pools. It's great stuff. It's a great environment. And these guys are, and actually interesting, you know, Spanish chain do really well. You know, I believe a shipping magnate is the guy who started this thing. Breeds Arabian horses. Actually, they talk about having a diversified portfolio. They also own Medieval Times and run that.
Well, it makes sense that they're containerizing an experience. Yeah, they're putting experience in. I don't mean to be distracted. I'm trying to. It's bugging me now of that app because I have it on my phone, but I have, as you know, way too many apps on my phone.
I've been trying to fill for you while you're doing this. Yeah, I have no problem doing that. It's like,
you're doing a hell of a job, Mr. Robert. It's all good.
Exactly. I can talk about all inclusive,
but still,
no, but there are great places. You know, Charisma does fantastic. You know, fantastic. The Eldorados, and Cancun and Riviera, they really do great jobs on honeymoons. They do, now some of them are adults only and things like that, but some of them for the kids. Barcelona, we went there with the kids. They loved it. Set on a spectacular beach. The thing's like 2,500 rooms or they're maybe up to 3,000 because they have these 500 unit hotels, right? That they've kind of plopped down the thing. But the amazing thing, when especially you look at these Spanish hotel chains, Barcelona is, I should write a case study on it, but it's amazing. You see the original ones that were built and you go, okay, I see how they designed it. And here they had kind of the open air buffets and things like that. And so they built 2 of those to start. Then the next 2 that they built, the buffets are still structured kind of in the same general location, kind of mid building, but now they're air conditioned and enclosed. You go, they learned. And so each one you can see, here are these refinements of how they improved it. They set up the restaurants. Yeah, all of a sudden centralized kitchen instead of, they had split kitchens. They now have a central. All these things that improve their efficiency and service delivery and all this stuff. And you can see, each phase that they did, they got better. Right. Which that unfortunately I see missing in a lot of North American hotel groups who just go out and go, we want to do all inclusive. We'll just include food or something like that. Right. No,
not inclusive. It's
really
just add on.
Really different approach, different style, different operational requirements that really make you
well, it sounds for a good reason why we're not going to see you for 2 weeks. I mean, God, you're going to be able to enjoy yourself and relax and be in a nice warm climate and not have to worry about weather transitions and people calling and bugging you because you're going to have your phone off because it's $12 a megabyte.
Well, except actually with Sprint, who I have, I could have calling. I think it's only like 20 cents a minute. Actually, in all these Caribbean islands, which is kind of surprising, that came with my general kind of unlimited data plan. I have unlimited data, but it's slow. It's 2G, and unlimited text when I get off these. So if I'm going to be in Barbados and St. Lucia and St. Thomas and all these, and I'm going to actually have connectivity off of the ship, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, well, and not for not a ton of money, which is good. So that's, that helps people travel. And again, I look at that as a barrier to people going, oh my gosh, do
me a favor, try to use that Google Trips. Try to use that Google Trips and see if it really proves to be helpful and offline.
Okay. Problems on Google Trips, because again, I'm an Android person. It was putting not nearly as good as TripIt and or Traxo. Right, who are good at figuring out itineraries, things like that. They've still got a lot of distance to go. So I had some things in one trip, and then it was 2 separate trips based on my hotels in Fort Lauderdale before and after the cruise. Right, inability to consider the cruise of what I'm doing in between, which is a big gap, and I can see why they missed it, but it's early on. But again, when I decided not my air tickets, not really attached and things like that, and you go, come on, guys, you've got my Gmail, you're already coming up with these. Anyway, they put them in separate things, and I deleted one to put it in the other, right? They're gone. It doesn't do a research and pull it back in. There's no method. There's no method to do it. Where again, you look at something like a TripIt, which I use TripIt Pro religiously. It's a great.
Oh, I know, I do too. I use TripIt Pro. Yeah.
And with that, you go, every once in a while I go, hey, I've got to merge these 2 trips and things like that. Very good at being able to move things back. None of that in the Google Trips, which is pretty disappointing. So they've got a long way to go.
That's disappointing. Yeah. All right. Well, listen, I'm not going to keep you for your last show of the year.
Well, but you still aren't going to tell me that app. So
I'll have to do a sidebar with you on it because I'm going to have to take some time. I don't want to keep rude where I'm looking over here and not talking to you. But because I have literally over 1,000 apps on my phone, and that's no exaggeration for those who know me.
Wow.
Like building apps. And so
how much memory do you have on your phone? So
let's just say there's not a lot. There is no music and there is no photos on my phone. And I have the 128, and It's close to being too full. So yeah, if you look at my usage bar, it's apps.
Well, no, unfortunately, my Nexus 6, again, because of Google's supply chain problems or distribution when they came out with the Nexus, they had exactly the same problem that they were doing with that they're doing now with the Pixel. And I wound up going, I wanted the 64, I got the 32. And it's been for the last year just an albatross around my neck because it's just not enough room for and I've only got 150 apps on it. But again, I do have some music, not many photos and things like that. I've trimmed all those off. But again, you kind of go, come on, this is not.
Okay. I will, just so you feel that I'm not exaggerating the truth. Let's see if I can hold this up. Okay. So home screen. Keep going. There's folders. These are all folders.
Yeah.
Whoops. I hate Google. How'd I hate Google? These are all folders. Here, they're off of it.
Oh, with four dozen items in each one, right?
Yeah. There's folders. Now some individual because I got sloppy about categorizing them. Still more of them. Still more of them. So can I query peer-to-peer offline mobile communication? I guess. I mean, it like I said, it was used and it still exists. I just don't know what folder I put it under because I've had it for a while. And I know that I think it's under communications. I'm not sure. I tried to look for that.
Oh, okay.
But it's a ability to communicate between people without getting on anybody's Wi-Fi. You're not sharing anybody else's Wi-Fi. Your phone Wi-Fi connects to the Wi-Fi of the other person.
Is it
shares?
Fire chat.
Hey, maybe that's it. Fire
chat.
There it is. I knew it was fire something.
Is it fire chat, right?
Maybe. I thought it was fire something.
Try
fire chat on the App Store. Yeah, with the hand that goes like this. That's it.
Thank you, Google.
Thank you, Google.
Google is faster than Loren. No, I'm sorry.
Everybody's faster than Loren. All right. So, Mr. Robert, not that you're going to want to be bothered for the next couple of weeks because you're going to be on this wonderful cruise and then all inclusive, but should people after the change of the year want to find you, reach out to you, or just talk to you and all that kind of fun stuff, where can they find you?
You can always find me at Rock Cheetah or at Robert K. Cole on virtually most social media.
And let me take this opportunity, in case I don't get to talk to you before Christmas, to wish you a happy, happy, happy Christmas to you and your family. Even though you're not that far away, you're in Irving, and I'm in Allen, Texas, which is literally neighbors to each other. We just don't get the chance to physically actually grab a beer or something. Maybe we can change that trend after the change of the year. When you get back, we'll go out and grab beer or something.
And we're going to be having a Cole family tradition of zip lining on Christmas. So
see, it's nice. Those are the warm, fuzzy things that make Christmas all special. Tradition.
That's right. Exactly.
But yeah, so I will miss you on the next two shows. So of course we will talk about you to no end, so that you can laugh at our comments about you. I think next week I won't.
And are you sticking around? Are you sticking around in Dallas?
Sticking around in Dallas for the holidays this time. We're not going to head down to Florida.
Really?
We're going to do the cold weather holiday here this year, mainly because I just have so much mountain of work. I'll be the antithesis of you. I really won't be taking days off. I will be working through because I have way too many client obligations through the end of this year to get done and completed.
Oh boy!
Well, lots of the whiny part in the earlier part of the show is still going on. I'm still clearing the air on getting something moving off of the mark from ineptitudes of support services that are already paid for. So I'll be working on that, plus a few other things. A few other things are in the works. So it'll be a kind of a work holiday. But again, can you complain working from home and being able to share and not have to worry about driving to work? And no, there's no complaints whatsoever. Just lots of work.
Only thing better is being on a cruise ship.
There you go. So, and then all inclusive afterwards. For any of that wants to play this show back or any of our previous 71 shows, we've been doing this now for a year and a half. You can go to hospitalitydigitalmarketing.com/live, where the archive of connections are there. Also, we do a podcast that reviews the show, plus goes into depth on some of the stuff we didn't spend some time on or didn't get to. And that is at also hospitalitydigitalmarketing.com/podcast. You'll see all the episodes there. It's on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, SoundCloud, just about every platform you can find a Blueberry, TalkShoe. It's all out there for any of those platforms to listen to. We do try to keep it at 20 to 30 minutes audio wise, so that you don't have to go through the 2-hour listening of this show. we don't dupe the show. I do a separate podcast for it. So you can go there for that, play back to it. And a lot of content, all of the show notes and minute by minute, so you can jump to the minutes that you want to hear the content on, will be on hospitalitydigitalmarketing.com/live/71. That's the post that will have all the show notes to it as well. And of course, you can always reach out to me at Loren at hospitalitydigitalmarketing.com for any suggestions, topics, or if you'd like to join the show, let us know. You can always join on it, but you can always let me know if you'd like to join and be a guest speaker if you're so inclined. And also, we're going to start, I guess, probably the new year. We'll start that Marketing Minute Mondays. What do you think, Mr. Robert?
I think that sounds like an excellent idea.
I think it'd be fun to do a little quick answer, like Susie from Des Moines asks, is Facebook good for this? We can answer a quick answer and just throw it up as video. So
that's right.
All right. Well, listen,
Loren, I'm tearing down my barn and trying to do such and such. What do you think?
What do you think? Loren? Well, I think I use 16 penny nails instead of the traditional 18 because really. You didn't think I'd pull out the penny nail thing, did you?
It'll just be anything, any topic. Because we missed with Tim Peters, the all-knowing,
all-seeing oracle. Yes, we did mess with him. You can, for people watching this show, you can only imagine the banter that we have on our own messenger between each other and so forth is bordering on, well, crazy. Holly, if you're still with us, thank you as always for keeping up with us. For anyone else that is still with us on the show, thank you for listening to the bitter end. And as always,
and actually, Holly is the only reason we do this.
This is the only reason is that we want Holly to be happy that she has something to listen to on a Friday.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, I'm going to go over and start shutting off our Periscope Live, which you can, for those who follow, you can catch us on Periscope as a replay, our YouTube Live, our Facebook Live, and like I said, we already did Instagram Live earlier today.
Yeah. So,
well, I didn't want to do the whole show on that one because it only lasts an hour and it only stays up for a day. They don't keep it up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they only keep it up for a day. So I didn't want to try to have that go along. Plus, I'd have to do it originally on the phone because my iPad's running the Periscope right now. This laptop over here is running the Periscope feed for it. My Facebook Live's on this one, Houses on this one, and YouTube Live is on this one. So, yeah. Hey, if there's a live platform, I'm there.
That's apparently so.
All right. With that, thank you, everyone, as always. And until next week, show number 72, which airs next Friday, the 20. What is the next date? The add 7 to this one. What's our date?
23rd, I believe.
Yeah.
Probably the 23rd.
22nd. 22nd. Yep. Friday the 22nd. Yep.
Nope. That would be Friday the 23rd. 16 plus 7 is 23 plus 7 is 30. So
yeah, we only have 2 more shows left. I do know that. We only have 2 more shows left this year. And so the 23rd and then the 30th. So yes. So
and expect on January 6th show for a full review of Fire Chat.
Yes, then see how it works. Yeah, how it works. But we will also, next year we have. That's why if you go to our website, you won't see future shows scheduled yet. I'll be adding all the new future shows, which will still be on Fridays. But hopefully I'll have some related topics to the shows, just not announcing the show by date and time. We'll actually have topic and potential guest speakers, at least for 30 or 60 days out. So that's why you're not seeing this continuation of postings of future shows past the end of the year, only because we're going to be changing the format of how those shows get represented on the page. And that's part of my homework over the holidays.
Very good.
All right. Thank you, everyone, again. Until next week on the 23rd, enjoy your week and your weekend and happy holidays for everyone.
All right. Happy holidays, Loren.